is Welcome to Derry, terrifyingly necessary.
Or better left buried. Find out next on the cutting room floor. What's up, misfits and metalheads, and welcome to another episode of the cutting room floor. We are from the band Cut Like This. I am Thorn Black.
I'm Roseblood.
And today we are talking about Welcome to Derry, currently streaming on HBO Max. And that's right, they brought back, because you can't do it any other way, Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that fantastic?
It was amazing to have him back. He does not, you don't get to see him in Pennywise form for the first couple of episodes, so just a little heads up there. But it is worth it. It's worth it.
But first, don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, music all over the place. That's right, I did one of those all over the place, including right here on YouTube. Got a bunch of music videos, and new music is almost ready
So
to
close.
release.
It's so close.
I'm doing the cigar. Yeah. Over the shoulders, you know. Anyway, Rose, why don't we get into this one, and why don't you tell them a little bit about Welcome to Derry? And this is a series, not a movie.
Yes. So, Welcome to Derry is the prequel to the It films that we know and love. It Part 1 and It Part 2. So good. I'm a big fan of these series, going all the way back to Tim Curry's version of Pennywise.
Agreed.
I still love those
I
ones,
feel
too.
like all of the It's are fantastic.
Yeah.
The original Tim Curry and the remake. I feel like both of them are fantastic.
They're good in different ways.
And then we
but
run
at the time
into...
at the time when the original It film came out, that thing was scary, okay? I know that maybe you don't have the same perspective now.
We don't have to defend it. It stands for
it's
itself.
amazing. Come on, Tim Curry, okay? That's all I gotta say. Tim Curry.
Back when it came out, it was fantastically terrifying. We're not going to defend it. Like,
exactly.
It's fantastic.
So, in keeping, if you are a person who understands the world of It, I'm going to give you one small... we avoid spoilers here. We only talk about what's in trailers and whatnot. It comes back every 27 years. And so this is 27 years prior to the movies that we are familiar with. And sometimes it even has flashbacks that go even further back than that. So you get to learn a lot more about the entity known as It.
Which I thought was absolutely fantastic. I wasn't even counting on getting any extra back lore necessarily on It itself. And we did, and what a pleasant surprise to fill in cool. some of that lore. Like, I'm a big, like, give me the lore on the monster or the world, the universe, whatever you're doing. Like give me some deets on it. Also, I really love that kind of stuff, and I got even more on this crazy character that I never thought I was going to get after all this time. It's great.
As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now that if you watch It Welcome to Derry, you can then watch the new It movies and you will have a whole different perspective, because you're going to know a lot more about Pennywise and about It and this whole story. It's so well tied in, and it makes a lot of sense. The lore is loring. The gore is wild and crazy as you would expect.
Oh, and can I talk about how they're not pulling any punches?
They're not pulling any punches.
Seriously.
Just like the films, they're not pulling any punches in this show. It is incredible. And it even has some tie-ins to other Stephen King properties, because we get to see a lot more about Dick Halloran, who, as you would know, is the caretaker for the Outlook Hotel in The Shining. So you get to know some more about a different character from that same world, which is always really cool.
What a wonderful
I'm a big fan
tie-in.
of expanding the universe, and
right?
and King himself is a big fan of giving little Easter eggs to his stuff throughout different films and stuff like that. He has characters that recur in other stories of his. and it's a whole universe and a world, and it's very fun. I'm a big Stephen King fan. In case you guys didn't know, missed it, whatever. That was one of my first horror authors that I followed as a kid. So this stuff all holds a really nostalgic place in my heart. There is, like we said, a lot more background on the town of Derry itself and the history of that place. And you actually get to meet some of the predecessors to the characters that we see in the films. So you get to see kind of, different stuff about that community and the things that have happened in the town. One of the major characters is the man who runs the military base. His name is General Shaw. He's played by James Remar, who you've seen in a million things, but to me, he will always be Dexter's dad.
I feel you on that, right?
He plays Dexter's dad on Dexter. And so anytime I see him in something, I'm like, it's Dexter's dad. But of course, he is an amazing actor who's been in so many different TV shows. Countless movies and TV shows at this point. But he does a great turn as this character, General Shaw, who definitely has something in his sleeve. He presents us like, a good old boy kind of general guy, you know what I mean? But I feel like, it's like there's always something simmering beneath the surface there. So you get to see the mystery unfold as you watch the series.
One thing I do want to mention is this story is in the past, so there will be some extra racially charged moments throughout the show. So if that is a thing for you, just giving you a little bit of a heads up, that's all.
Yep. Yeah, it can be a little bit hard to swallow, but that is the reality of the world that we lived in at that time.
Oftentimes, one of the reasons I like horror movies is the horror is very clear and obvious on what the threat is, on what the monster is, and I like it because it's so far removed from what's going on in real life. This one, because it's
a little
in the past,
close to home.
You get a little bit of a blend of both, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes I wanted a little bit more fantastical, but you know what I mean? It's like you can't separate the two, and this is just one solid, well done story, and for the time setting that they're getting, they are getting everything correctly. And I mean, not for nothing, there's nothing better than seeing a bunch of prejudiced, racist people get torn apart in a horror movie. So there's that also, gotta say.
Yeah, so you will see some of that, and there will be some racial discrimination type of scenes in there, because that's the time that they were living in, unfortunately. So that's a heads up for you guys. If that kind of content is upsetting to you, then maybe this isn't the right show for you to check out. However, that's not the entirety of this show.
Oh, not at all.
But it is a big thing that does happen.
It is a big part of the show.
I think it's important to point it out. So thank you for pointing that out. Specifically, I'm glad that it was you that pointed it out. Even though we are both people of color, this one is obviously the more obvious one.
I'm more obvious.
A little bit more obvious.
It's the shades.
It's the shades. Shades gave it away every time.
Darn sunglasses.
Anyway, regardless, the cast is so good. The kids are really, this obviously we all know what Pennywise's favorite snack is. It's some kids.
It's some
okay? And if these kids were not as great actors as they were, this show would not be as watchable as it is.
Totally agree. It would fall apart if these kids weren't good actors.
These are great kid actors.
They found some really good kid actors.
They really found really good kid actors.
I totally agree with that.
The dramas that happen between them, besides all of the scary clown stuff, there's also just, school issues and different things like that, dealing with bullying and stuff like that. And I thought they handled it really, really well. You really feel like this is a group of real kids, you know what I mean? And they have real relationships with each other, and they're dealing with something that's so far beyond anything that anybody could expect. Nobody's going to believe them, you know what I mean? And they're in a really horrific situation. And let me tell you, it is horrifying, all of the forms that it likes to take in this.
Isn't it?
You get to see a lot of different forms before it decides on good old Pennywise. And it's so fun. You get to see the origin of like how he chose that form. Super cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's another thing
Super
I thought
cool.
I was never going to see, which is like a wonderful surprise in this show.
And when we get to see Bill Skarsgård, let me tell you, this man is chewing up the scenery like nobody's business.
All right, we're going to have to slap a rating on this bad boy.
It's so insane. It is so over the top and in the best possible way, okay? It is so cool. So, all of that being said, we like to rate Via Chainsaw with 5 chainsaws being a masterpiece of horror. That chainsaw can even defeat it. 1 chainsaw. The chain is not even on the saw. You are not accomplishing a darn thing. How many chainsaws does Welcome to Derry get for you, Thorn Black?
The obligatory rubbing my hands together
Rub those
before
hands
rating.
together.
I don't
Rub 'em,
understand
rub 'em.
why I do it, but
Rub
I
'em.
like
It's like
it.
a magic lamp.
And I'm going to
Let's go.
keep doing it now. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. Callum. 5 chainsaws. Let me tell you why. Because one, having this show is honestly, it's a prequel, but at the same time it's more than that. And I'm not going to even say anything else because it's going to give too much. But you'll see. It's fantastic. I love, for one, that they got Bill Skarsgård to come from the movies to be in a television show.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, when they go back and forth one to the other, I don't care which way they go, they don't have the rights or whatever, like whatever red tape is in the way for them to get the actual actor that was in the movie to be in the show or vice versa. And to me, that it kind of kills it. It sucks the life out of it and you lose a lot of momentum. The fact that they had Bill Skarsgård and he is at the top of his creepy game. I'm telling you,
He's
Bill
so terrifying.
He is the most terrifying he's ever
so
been
terrifying.
as this character. He just keeps getting better as this character. When Pennywise finally fully forms as actual Pennywise, because he's in it before, don't get me wrong, but when he's actually Pennywise, he's just, oh my goodness. 5 out of 5 Bill Skarsgård. If it was for Bill alone, I would give him a 5. And it's not for Bill alone, don't get me wrong. But Bill alone as his character is absolutely killing it. And these kids are not safe. No child in this show is safe, so don't get attached. I'm just saying. Fantastic, terrifying. Love Bill Skarsgård. Love all the actors. Good job. 5 out of 5 for me. Rose, what are you going to give this one?
I'm gonna have to get 5 stars. Do you understand me? All right? Skarsgård is standing on freaking business on this thing.
Yep.
The kids are amazing. The adults too are awesome. Chris Chalk as Dick Halloran is a very great character because he's kind of conflicted, like, because he's being used for his shining power and stuff like that throughout this, and he kind of doesn't, he's kind of looking away at like some of the ethical quandaries of doing this situation and seeing how bad this situation is getting, and it is great. So you get to learn a little bit more about The Shining too, which is awesome. And I think that for me, I've always said that my 5 stars contingent on obviously me loving it, but also like the rewatchability. Not only does this show have rewatchability, but it makes me want to rewatch the movies. Okay?
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta rewatch these movies now. Wow, the lore is loring. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I need to see it with these new eyes that I have
Because we saw it the other way, which is like how you
Exactly.
meant to see it, because it still opens your eyes in some crazy ways.
It really
but
does.
Now it's just like going back to, I'm like,
and for a show,
Yeah.
To not only have its own rewatchability, but to make the films that it came from make you want to rewatch those
Yep.
too. That's crazy. I don't
is
think that's ever happened to
some
me
top-notch
before.
storytelling,
It is
I
really
have to
good
say.
storytelling. The gore is absolutely insane, over the top, exactly as you expect from watching the movies.
It's gross, it's terrifying, it's well
gross.
acted.
And Pennywise, I'm sorry, just every scene Every scene with Pennywise in it is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. It's so horrific.
We all have like our favorite monster movie villains and everything. And I have to say, after watching Welcome to Derry, and I already loved it, like the clown, whatever you want to call it, Pennywise. Yeah. I already loved it. After this, I'm telling you, this character skyrocketed up the list, and he was already towards the top of the list, but he just jumped up the list. I'm like, he plays him so well, it's crazy. So,
yes,
you have your homework for the weekend. You're welcome. Go and binge it. It's snowing up in this piece on the East Coast. I don't know where you are, but it's snowing like crazy over here. I'm not going anywhere.
So that's a perfect time to get some hot cocoa and watch some people get torn up by evil clowns. Let's go.
You know.
Until next time.
Until next time, we are from Cut Like This. Excuse me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and we will see you next time because we are...